Hello everyone, ScheherazadEify here, and today I want to talk about something that many people still do not understand, and that is that being a YouTuber is a real job. Now before anyone tries to say that I'm only saying that because I'm a YouTuber and have something to gain from it, let me make it clear that while I have a YouTube account and create videos, I do so without monetization. If there is an ad on any of my videos, it's because someone filed a claim, although I try to be careful so I do not get claims. Though, let's face it, being careful isn't enough since people will be jerks and file false claims. But many others more famous than me have talked about that, so I won't bother. The point is that I do YouTube for free. I have my reasons for not monetizing my videos, but it mainly comes down to my satiate personality. I make plenty of money from my job working as a CNC in a factory that I do not need additional money. And secondly, when you consider that I don't believe my work to be on the same level of quality that other YouTubers are, I think you will understand why I do not deserve money. Regardless, I am making this video not because I have anything to gain from it, but just because it is the truth. YouTube is a real job and is like my job in many ways, and in this video we are going to explain why it is a real job and why YouTubers in general deserve money. Now in the background I have some gameplay footage and I'm talking into a microphone, and I'm intentionally doing this because this is what people think is so easy and why YouTubers should not be making money. Plus I hear some people like gameplay footage to watch when listening to a gamer talk. Anyways, on the surface it seems that what I'm doing in this video is an easy task, but here's the thing. Sure, it is easy, but time consuming. Many people are swept up in the belief that the length of a video must be just how long it took to make it, and that is simply not true. There were hours upon hours put into this video, maybe 8 or so, I don't really know. How can that be, you ask? Well, it's simple. To begin, I believe in scripting most of my videos, as do many other YouTubers. This means actually sitting down and writing everything we intend to say and making a separate recording. Now, in order to prepare, I like to rehearse for a couple months, and yes, I did say months. To me, an idea has to sound good when I say it multiple times over the course of months before I make a YouTube video about it. There are many reasons for this, but basically I feel that there's no use putting the effort into a video if in a month or so my opinion is going to change. And I have learned the fine art of actually listening to the words coming out of my mouth and asking myself if they are worth saying and are accurate. An idea comes to me, and I plan how I'm going to say it and then rehearse it multiple times. Next comes the writing of the final script and then the hours of recording. It takes a while because I want the audio to sound clear and as good as it can with a crappy mic. Though I figure if I cannot have a good mic, I can at least have my words spoken clearly and be exactly what I intended to say. I do not like the idea of making a video, having something come out wrong, and then having to go back and leave notes in the video or the video description. So there is a lot of editing. Then lastly, the gameplay video. Again, many people like gameplay, and I feel if I'm going to have gameplay, I can have it with the best graphics and quality that the game and the computer will allow. This means much larger video file sizes which take longer to load and edit, and then upload. All of this takes time, and it averages out to roughly 4 hours of work for me for about every 10 minutes of video I produce. On that note, recording up to this point has had me literally deleting over half the audio recordings due to mistakes, and this script alone took over 3.5 hours to write. So yeah. One could just simply rant into a microphone in a single recording and call it a day, and some people like Alphaomegasin are actually really good at that, but people like myself are not. I used to do that, but then hated myself afterwards for the way I sounded. Now I want to put in a lot of effort into my videos, and many other YouTubers do this as well. Watch a video from Boogie2988 and see how many cuts there are in his videos because of editing, or just look at many YouTubers. All of this takes time. However, I want to dive into this issue a little further and compare my job to that of a YouTuber or several YouTubers. So for this example, let's use PewDiePie, the Amazing Atheist, and Boogie2988. I'm using Boogie just because he's awesome. I'm using PewDiePie because he's well known, and the Amazing Atheist is here just because I felt I needed a YouTuber that I do not agree with, so that people don't think I'm only defending those I like. Although granted, I don't really care much for PewDiePie's content. But oh well. So let's take a look at what these three YouTubers do. We all know PewDiePie makes video commentaries of playing games. He plays games, gets scared, screams, and so on and so forth. The Amazing Atheist makes videos expressing his opinion, usually just sitting in front of a camera. And Boogie2988 does videos sitting in front of a camera as well, most notably his Francis Rages, in addition to other gaming content and comedy sketches and blog pieces. Now let's take a look at what I do professionally. I am a CNC operator, and for those that do not know about the job, let me explain it to you. CNC stands for Computer Numerics Controller or something like that, and it is a factory job that involves running and operating high-tech machinery that runs with computer programs. If you wish to see some examples, feel free to Google image search for the Holtzma, Carlson Systems Engineering, CR Onshrud, or Dallas Industries cut-to-line presses to get an idea of all the machinery that I'm trained to run. I've been doing this for about 7 years now, and I'm highly trained in all CNC machines in the plant, and can even go beyond basic operation to be one of the few people that can actually program new stuff into the computers, and on occasion management presents me with demands for new type of products or tests that have to be done, and I regularly perform well, and to top it all off, I do all my calculations in Japanese kana, and sometimes German, just for the heck of it. These machines are large, complex, and dangerous. I mentioned in a previous video about having to help clean up blood after a coworker got their hand pulled into a machine that I run on a regular basis. There are times where I have to stick my body parts into a machine designed to crush at 300 tons of pressure with a large 4-ton plate above my hand and arm that's only held up by 4 bolts. Or I have to clean a blade that I cannot physically see because it is inside the machine and I cannot get my head up in there. So I have to stick my hand up there and wipe the blade. A blade which is designed to make 500,000 precision cuts in metal before going dull. To top it all off, the equipment is worth a lot, and the materials needed that I must transport myself are expensive. People who worked there before I did at the same job have, within a few seconds, did roughly $50,000 to $100,000 in damage. Again, in a couple seconds. And keep in mind I said worked there, aka they no longer work there. Finally, as previously mentioned, the lines that feed the press fluid to allow it to crush at 300 tons of pressure will explode from time to time. 1 second I could be running just fine, and the next second I look back to see smoke and fluid shooting out of the machine in a matter of seconds, forming a pool of fluid on the floor that is roughly 30 to 40 feet in diameter. And again, this cannot be prevented. You just have to learn to deal with the fact that you are running a machine that will explode. So with all that said, you may still be thinking that I'm joking when I say that a YouTuber's job is like mine in many ways and should be treated as a real job. You may be thinking that I'm just being sarcastic, but I'm not. I am dead serious, and it's time to explain why. So let's take a look at all the stuff me and YouTubers have in common. First off, we all have a job that, yes, anyone can do, but A, not everyone wants to do, and B, not something everyone can succeed at for a variety of reasons. So let's start off with PewDiePie. He makes gameplay commentary. Sure, anyone can play a game while talking. The Amazing Atheist creates videos about his opinion. Anyone can do that. Boogie does comedy and impersonations, and almost anyone can do that. Even I have made people laugh from time to time. And with my job, anyone can do it. The basic job is simple. Push a button and adjust and input the right programs and numbers. But now let's go back to my reasons A and B. So reason A, not everyone wants to do it. With PewDiePie's job, many people do not want to do it for a number of reasons. First off, when you are doing gameplay commentary, you've got to be creative to keep your audience, and many people don't want to have the pressure of constantly having to be entertaining. With the Amazing Atheist, many people do not want to express their opinion as he does because of the backlash you will get, and I am sure he gets a lot of negative comments. I have never asked him, but it's just that he calls himself the Amazing Atheist, and I'm a Christian, and know how many Christians view and treat atheists. It's sad, really, how big of a dick many Christians can be. Personally, I disagree with the Amazing Atheist, but I've better things to do than to watch his videos or argue with him. It is just much easier to let him be him and me be me, and leave each other alone, especially since he claims to be an atheist, and I don't believe atheists actually exist. I mean, come on. If you expect me to have faith and believe in something that cannot be proven, you're crazy. So I honestly don't believe in atheists. And if you don't believe in something, sure, it can exist. Obviously, if you don't believe in it. Now, obviously that was a little bit of sarcasm for you, but yeah, the guy must get a lot of mean comments, as do many people that express their opinion. It's ridiculous that people cannot be civil, but many can't, and as a result, many people do not even want to do what the Amazing Atheist does. Then there's Boogie. Many people do not want to do what he does because, again, there are idiots out there. He does an amazing job voice acting characters like Francis, but some people cannot realize that it's just a character, and they hate him because of it. They harass him because of his weight as well, and he, like many YouTubers, had to move because people found out his address and harassed him at his home. So many people do not want to be a YouTuber for reasons like that. Then, back to my job. As I said, the machine lines will explode, and many people do not like the idea of running a machine that will explode when there's nothing you can do to prevent it. Also, it is a dirty job. There is grease everywhere, and it will get on you. Or, with sticking your hands into a machine, many people refuse to do it and don't even want to touch it with a 40-foot pole. It is scary to some people knowing that if a bolt snaps, you have 4 tons of metal falling down in your hand, especially when word traveled around about the coworker who lost part of his hand. People just don't want to do that job. Next, reason B. People just can't handle it. PewDiePie's channel is huge, and not everyone can handle popularity. I know I couldn't. You have all those people wanting to contact you, fans and haters alike. Fans feel underappreciated because they cannot grasp the concept of people with millions of fans not being able to respond to every message. Amazing Atheist and other opinionated people get a lot of hate too because many people cannot handle a different opinion. Sure, people have opinions, but few people are brave enough to show their face when saying it, which is actually one reason why I kind of respect the Amazing Atheist. Sure, I disagree with him, but at least he's not a coward. He does more than I would do given the fact that I refuse to show my face on YouTube or even give my name. And Boogie does something many people can't handle, and that is being entertaining when depressed or receiving threats and hate. And I kind of hate to bring this up, but many YouTubers who are overweight are especially brave, and many people who are overweight refuse to show their face, and they hide because they cannot deal with the amount of criticism and hate directed at overweight people. It is sad that the world has to be like that, and hopefully someday everyone will realize that friends are not like clothes, and as such they should not be chosen based on color, size, financial status, gender, ethnicity, or religious beliefs. Now with my job, many people have wanted the job, got it, but quit or got fired because they couldn't handle it. One guy didn't get the concept of if something weighing a large amount starts to fall, you shouldn't try to catch it. I wish I was joking, but he seriously went forward and tried to catch about a half a ton of falling metal. Fortunately, it fell away from him, but still, he lost the CNC job immediately after. One guy was doing well, but then when working overtime was needed, he lost his mind. He could handle working 8 hours a day, but when we had to go to working 12 hours a day, he just lost it, went off, and then quit. The fact is, being a CNC, you regularly have to work overtime when others don't, and many people just can't take that fact. Additionally, many people just cannot handle the wrath of the supervisor, so to speak, when a mistake is made. Mistakes on CNC machines are generally more costly to the plant due to higher cost of materials. As such, management comes down on CNC operators harder than anyone else. In one case, I dropped a bunch of material that was roughly 1,400 feet in total length. Times that by $1.97 a foot, and you can see why management had me in the office shortly after. Basically, a few seconds of inattention at my job can cost you your life, a body part, or have you getting yelled at. Not something just anyone can handle. So to recap, with all of our jobs, mine and that of a YouTuber is yes, anyone can basically do our job, but not everyone wants to or is cut out to handle it. Though, let's take this a bit further. Lots of people say anyone can be a YouTuber, and yes, but not just anyone can be popular and successful enough to make a living out of it. One reason I'm never going to try to make YouTube my job is that I know as popular as the site is, there is no way I could ever stand out enough that I can make a living if I monetize my videos. YouTube is a flooded marketplace, just like my job. As a result, you must stand out, and if you cannot, well, you'll lose your job, or ability to make money. When I started out at my job over 7.5 years ago, I was just another young employee recently hired among many. I even later learned that people placed bets on the new hires as to how long they would stay. Apparently $20 said that I would not last 2 weeks. The guy that lost the bet, though, told me that he was not angry at me because so many others quit that he still made money from all the betting. Anyways, I had to stand out, but not just once hired, but even before I started. I had to have a good resume and application and references from other people. Then, once hired, I had to stand out yet again, and it wasn't easy. In time, I earned the respect of my lead and some supervisors who basically worked to literally promote me, and in roughly 9 months of being there, I made CNC. Does this all not sound familiar? Of course it does, because it is exactly what YouTubers have to do and deal with. If a popular YouTuber likes something from a new YouTuber and they mention that person's video or something, then that person may become popular. But if you don't get the attention of the right people, you can work really hard and never rise to the top. Sometimes it is all really up to chance and luck. Many great YouTubers don't get many views at all, and certainly not the number of views that I think they should be getting. Personally, I think ScheherazadEify and White Lightning HQ deserve way more views and subscribers than they get. But despite their content being superb, I bet most, if not all of you watching this have never even heard of either of them. And you can't even say that their content is bad and that is why they're not getting the views they deserve. A look at the like-dislike bar of both their videos and channels has so many likes that the number of dislikes is almost non-existent by comparison. It all comes down to who notices you and where you are, and that contributes to success on YouTube, just like in my job. There are people that work as hard as me, if not harder, but will never probably be CNC for one simple reason. They were put in a department that doesn't have CNC machines. I was put in the department with CNC machines from day one, so I had the opportunity to be around them and learn by observing, and when an operator left, I had the chance to figuratively jump on the machine and start running it, which got the supervisor's attention, and he felt I should do that job full time, complete with the raise that went with it. You can argue that this is unfair, and no doubt many of you will, but the point remains. The fact that you are only one of many hopefuls is common on both YouTube and in real life. Though let's continue. Say you get popular like the three YouTubers originally mentioned. Now what? Well, it's still like my job in many, many ways. First off, you have to have integrity. In everything, if you lose your integrity, you lose the respect people had for you, and on YouTube that means fewer views and subsequently less money. In my job, if I lose my integrity and I lie, I will lose my job. Sure, we all make mistakes, and when I do, I own up to them and my supervisors, and I will not put the blame on someone or something else when it was my fault. As a result, management knows they can trust me. Coworkers know they can trust me as well. I can go up to a coworker and tell them that a leader or supervisor said for them to do something, and they do it, because they know I would not lie. But there are some people who I'm told that if they say a leader or supervisor says something, then you better go check with that leader or supervisor first. Or if management is trying to pull my help, they take my word as to whether or not I can survive and meet production goals without my partner there on the machines. Trust is important on YouTube especially. If a YouTuber talks very favorably about a product they didn't like, and people find out that the YouTuber didn't like said product and was just being paid to promote it, they get angry. Trust takes a lifetime to build and a second to lose. So in real life work, just like on YouTube, one must maintain their integrity. Next, let's talk innovation. In both my work and on YouTube, it is constantly needed because of those pesky little competitors. As mentioned previously, I am asked from time to test new stuff for new products or better ways to produce existing products. I have to do this because if our company does not innovate and give the customer something new to buy, then they will go to our competitors. The same is true of YouTubers. If people just produce the same thing over and over, people will get tired of it and go to something else. So constant innovation is necessary on both YouTube and in real life job. But there is a catch to both. To innovate, you must take risk. Risks are not always guaranteed to pay off, so we all have to decide, do we keep doing what we were doing, or do we risk trying something new? At my job, we took risks to create a wider variety of products. It took years of research and implementation and even required new machines, and we had to hire new people and work harder to make the new products. But it paid off big time because people loved the new products. Within a couple years, the company was able to afford to hire more people and take what was originally a temporary layoff that lasted for several months, was reduced down to a layoff that, at best, only lasted a month. Profits soared to the highest we have had in many years, with lots of new people getting hired. But the risk the company takes has not always worked out this way. I have been part of a few tests now on new stuff, and even though I did my job properly, the product just wasn't going to work. We have even had to test entirely new machines that were specifically built only to have them not be effective, and considering they were only built for one purpose, no one else would ever buy them. Thousands upon thousands of dollars has been lost to risks the company had to take. Now, why would the company take these risks? Well, it's simple. Customer feedback indicated problems, and we wanted to fix them. And not only that, but the company makes products that vary greatly in price, and there have been several failed tests that were the result of trying to make the cheaper stuff look as good as the more expensive stuff, so that people in lower incomes can have much nicer looking products. However, these tests have failed because we have a high standard of quality, and looks are not everything. Basically, the company is trying to make our products cheaper, but without sacrificing quality. Despite the failures, the company still believes that it would be great if we can make a product that looks and performs well but is cheaper. And many employees like myself believe in that idea and we're working to make it happen. But since we will not allow a cheaper quality product to be shipped out in the name of saving money, that dream has not become reality. Yet. Now, as a consumer of products, I'm sure that you would agree that it would be awesome if a company was able to save money and make a product and pass the savings on to you without making a lower quality product. That would be awesome, but point is, it is a risk that we took, and to date, it has not paid off. YouTubers are the same way. They have to take risk, and sometimes the new content or style of content they make doesn't resonate well with their viewers. Sometimes it does, though. Point is, it is still a risk because either people will love it and the person will get more views, or other times people will hate it and they will unsubscribe. A perfect example is the Fine brothers taking the risk of announcing React World. I think we all know how that went. Though on the other end of the spectrum, Boogie2988 decided to take a risk and make a video like he had never made before that was a video of him answering the Twitter questions asked to him, but in the style of a politician. Feel free to check out the like-dislike bar on that video to see how it went, but spoiler alert, last I checked there were fewer than 200 dislikes and over 10,000 likes. Point being, we all have to innovate, and to do so we must take risk. Now let's talk about another similarity, consumer feedback. All of us have to deal with this, whether your product is virtual like a YouTube video or physical like what I produce. The consumers will let you know what they think of it, and in both cases dealing with negative criticism is hard, albeit for very different reasons. With the YouTube, the feedback is hard because your product is given to the people for free. They just have to endure an ad. As a result, because it is free, more people will view it and therefore more people will respond. This results in negative criticism coming from lots of people. With my line of work, fewer people consume the product, but the rage from dissatisfied customers is just as bad, if not worse, because people paid money for it and had to travel to a store to buy it. And for many people, that is a long way of traveling, especially since they got to travel back to return it. The nearest store that sells the product I make is 35 miles from my house, so if I drive, it is 45 minutes each way. Now, if I were a customer, bought the product, came home and saw that it was bad, I'd have to return it. So that's 2 trips taking 90 minutes round trip each way for a total of 180 minutes, or 3 hours. You can bet if the product was bad, I would be letting the company know, and believe me, people do. In customer comments, a mention of how much time they wasted traveling to buy and return the product is usually mentioned. People are angry, and it's hard to deal with. Honestly, it's understandable too. I mean, sure, you could tell them that everyone makes mistakes, even factory workers, but who is going to be pacified by that when they just wasted 3 hours of their life? So to simplify, we all get negative comments and feedback, and YouTubers have to deal with a large number of angry people, and we factory workers have to deal with more serious directed angers from customers who lost time and money. So in some ways it's much more serious. Point is though, we both have to deal with negative criticism. I don't like having been in a company meeting and seeing them show customer comments from angry customers, especially when one customer said our product was terrible, that he's going to buy from our competitors, and we can all go eat our own dog. Well, never mind the last word of his comment. In the same way, YouTubers don't like hearing comments telling them that they suck and they should kill themselves. Which leads us to another similarity, danger. Sure, you may think at a glance my job is more dangerous than a YouTuber's, but is it really? Sure, my machine can be dangerous and has taken off a body part of a coworker, but the company has procedures in place to prevent that, and the coworker who lost a body part only did so because he didn't follow the most basic rule of factory work, and that is shut off the power before going inside a machine with moving parts. He got hurt because his hand was on a set of rollers while the machine still had the power and was on. And yes, he was told the proper procedures, but was just trying to save time because he felt rushed. Though when I'm working on a machine, I go by the company guidelines and I don't care how long it takes, because as a supervisor once told me, I'd rather tell upper management that we lost an hour production because you cleaned the machine properly than tell them that you lost a body part. I can explain lost production time easily, but I don't want to have to explain lost body parts or injuries. And he is absolutely right. So for an example, let's use cleaning that blade that I mentioned earlier. My hand has to go up inside the machine, but I've never gotten hurt because I insert locks and support into the machine and ensure that if it falls, multiple blocks will stop it from hurting me. I also shut off pressure to the lines that give it energy to crush. I kill power to the machine that runs the computer to tell it to crush. All air lines and hydraulic lines are shut off, and I put locks on everything, or as they call it, lockout tagout. On average, I have about 7 locks on the lines and tags with my name on it, so if anyone walks by, they cannot physically open the lines or turn the machine on, and they got tags with my name so they know who is doing something. I let my coworkers know I am going inside the machine, and I keep a radio in arm's reach in case all of the precautions fail and I need help. I then test it out and try to run the stuff to make sure everything is off and there is no power flowing to the machine, and then I put cut-resistant gloves on and material and make sure that I have coworkers nearby in case something goes wrong. All of this takes a ridiculous amount of time, and I've had moments where it took about 20 minutes to get all of this set up and literally seconds to fix the problem that made me shut down the machine in the first place. One day saw the loss of over an hour because a fly got inside that machine. I'm not kidding either. It took only a few seconds to clean up the fly's remains, and the rest of the time was spent making sure I didn't get hurt while doing it. Sure, that all sounds extreme, but can you imagine not doing that and then getting hurt or killed, and my family being told that I died trying to get a fly out of a machine? I know I'm going to die someday, but I don't want to have it be said of me that I died cleaning a dead fly out of a machine. But I digress. Point is, my job has procedures that, when followed, usually result in a safe outcome. But what do YouTubers have? Nothing, basically. Now you may say, what dangers does a YouTuber have to face? Well, it's simple. The wrath of unscrupulous people who cannot seem to grasp the concept of everyone, even people they don't agree with, having free speech and the right to express their opinion. As previously mentioned, I'm a Christian, so obviously I disagree with the Amazing Atheist, and indeed all atheists. I do believe there is a God, and only one God, but I will never threaten an atheist or attempt to silence them just because I disagree. I don't even believe in harassing them. What good does it do? As far as I'm concerned, as long as I'm free to say that I'm a Christian, atheists and people of other religions should be free to speak their mind as well. Though some people cannot grasp that concept and think they have to harass and send death threats to those they do not agree with, or in terms of the gaming community, they even swat them. Honestly, if you think someone you disagree with should die, then that is a clear sign that you are not strong enough and secure in your own opinions and beliefs. If you believe something and are sincere in that belief, the presence of an opposing opinion should not bother you. No one can deny how ridiculous it's gotten recently, and it's even been over stupid stuff as well. People send death threats over opinion of a game, for crying out loud. I don't get it. I mean, I personally believe that the Evacron games, for example, are awesome, and Elite Dangerous looks like a poor wannabe and doesn't even seem interesting in any way. But I'm not going to go to a YouTuber who loves Elite Dangerous and fill their comments with mean and hateful comments, nor will I bother even debating it with anyone. It's just much easier for me to go play the Evacron games than it is to seek out and speak negatively about Elite Dangerous on the channels of people that love that game. The same is true with Minecraft and Terraria. To be blunt, I don't understand how anyone can prefer Terraria over Minecraft. But am I offended and upset that some people do? No, because I need to build and mine in Minecraft. Coming to my channel and trying to say how good you think Terraria is and how bad you think Minecraft is will not faze me, nor do I care. And I'm certainly not offended that people love Terraria, because it doesn't matter to me if someone likes the game that I don't. Fortunately, many people are the same mindset I am. Lots, if not most, gamers live and let live, and they believe that you should play what you want and have fun, and it's the same way with religious beliefs. I've literally gotten along well with every atheist and Muslim I've met and talked to, simply because most people are of the opinion, believe what you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. And again, having a different opinion only hurts those who are so weak and pathetic that they don't have any real faith and strength in their own beliefs. But sadly, such people exist, and they will do whatever it takes to silence those of another opinion and will threaten and harass, and what can YouTubers do? Basically nothing. The only system in place is kind of like what Concord is in EVE Online, and for those of you that have played EVE Online, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But for those that haven't, Concord is a group that, quote, doesn't protect, they punish. So if a YouTuber gets swatted, oh, the law may go after the one that did it, but again, that doesn't stop it from happening. YouTubers are basically on their own to protect themselves because law enforcement and other systems are, again, like Concord. They don't protect, they punish. And the lack of protection is a big deal. What consolation is it going to serve if a law enforcement agency swears to go after a kid that swatted or doxed a YouTuber if that YouTuber died or was seriously hurt as a result of said swatting or doxing? In this regard, YouTubers actually have it worse and harder than people like me. There have been threats made against my company or people at work, and as a result, cops were stationed at the plants for days at a time. The company I work for employs hundreds of people in the area, and as such, it is worth it for the local police departments to station cops there for days at a time on rotating shifts. Can cops do that for a YouTuber? Not only that, but our factory is part of a multi-million-dollar corporation with millions in legal teams and resources to go after anyone who threatens the building or its employees. What do YouTubers have? I could go on, but I think you get the point. We all have to face dangers, including one final danger. So here we are, my last topic of interest in this long video, one very big reason why YouTubers and people like myself are all in the same boat. All of us could wake up one day to be out of a job. We have all seen it. YouTubers log in to see that their channel was deleted, some permanently. I've unfortunately been subscribed to channels who have been taken down due to false copyright claims and never recovered. Many of you have too, I'm sure. Though I'm sure many of you have heard about the factories that just shut down and the employees all lost their job without warning. As mentioned previously, the company I work for still does temporary layoffs, and there have been incidences where they did not give the people much warning. I remember one day we went to work and they called everyone together and said, "The layoff begins next week. All temps and new hires will be laid off for that point for at least 16 weeks. People did not respond well, and cops were actually needed on the scene. It is scary and worrisome. When I was new to the plant, I was told that I would be working, but a day before the layoff started, they told me that they had changed their minds and I was going to be laid off. Thankfully, it was just temporary, but still. When you look at the two jobs I had before coming to the factory, things seemed normal and I was doing my job properly, but I was told on short notice that I was being terminated. The first job was lost because the owner had an expensive divorce and had to sell the place, and the new owner wanted to keep costs down. What better way to do that than to get rid of me? My second job was lost after the person we were working for ran out of money, and I was just simply told that one day. And YouTubers have to face the same things. The possibility of waking up one day and not having work or income. In conclusion, YouTube is a real job whether you like it or not. It has the same risks and challenges of jobs like what I do, and it should be treated as such. Also, a lot of what YouTubers do is beneficial to all society. To all the YouTube gamers out there, I want to say this. I have no objection to the idea of you all playing games all day and making money from it. You know why? Because after working long hours and commuting, I want to come home and play a good game. I don't want to waste time and risk buying a game that may be crap, so I'm happy to watch an ad before your review so that you can make money for telling me if a game is good or not. And then to the YouTube entertainers. After a stressful day at work, sometimes I don't feel like playing and I just want to be entertained, cheered up, and laugh. So to the comedians on YouTube, I got lots of love. It's worth the ads for the entertainment you provide. And to the outspoken people with their opinions, even those I don't agree with. I'm also fine with you making money because that money is allowing you to do this full time. That is people being full-time advocates of free speech and fighting for it. To the people that do gaming news, hey, I'm a gamer and I love being informed as to what's going on in the gaming world. I know it takes time to find these stories and make videos about them, and that's worth money. And to the how-to channels and cooking channels, that is also awesome, sharing your passion and insight at no cost to us while making money. A win-win. I could go on, but I feel I have made my point. I've worked on a farm, in construction, and in a factory, and never made money on the internet or YouTube, and I'm saying that YouTube is a real job. Don't like it? Tough. And I will never take anyone who says otherwise seriously, especially if they've never been able to support themselves with a YouTube channel. I mean, if it's so easy and anyone could do it, why don't you just do it all and show us how it's done? Show us how easy it is to get enough subscribers and views in order to support yourself. Lastly, I want to say thank you to all the YouTubers that show appreciation to people like me who do the jobs like what I do. It makes it very easy to make videos like this when I've heard multiple YouTubers speak favorably and with respect for people in construction or factory work, etc., or all the other jobs out there that are not internet-based. Anyways, this has been Shorts Fiat. Thanks everyone for watching and have a great day.